and welcome to another episode of Lexx Education. It's the comedy science podcast where comedian me, Laura Lexx, tries to learn science from her nerdy, normal, back from gallivanting brother Ron.
Hey, what are we doing? Do we do a podcast together? It feels like I can't remember any of this.
It's been so long, hasn't it, Ron?
Maybe our longest ever break?
Yeah, I think so. And spoiler alert, I just opened my notepad to remind myself to get ready for the quiz, and there's a big box that says homework and then some stuff listed underneath it that I have absolutely no memory of what that was about, and nor are there any notes that would suggest what I was supposed to do with all that information.
What was the homework?
Ron, it just says NH4 plus, SO4 2 minus, OH minus, CO3 2 minus, NO3 minus.
Oh yeah, you had to learn those, I think.
What do you mean learn them? Anyway, that's coming up in a quiz in your futures. Guys, don't turn off. You're excited. Ron, how was your trip?
My trip was amazing. Thank you. Ooh, next we should do a geography Norway.
Oh my God, you should read the fucking spreadsheet of episodes that I have planned.
Why would I just go through and be like, oh, I wonder what we're doing sometime?
Because then you come to me and you go, just a reminder, we need to do X and Y. And I think, well, instead of just yelling it at me, why don't you put it in the spreadsheet? Or better than that, go to put it in the spreadsheet, like you co-run this podcast with me, and notice it's already there because I've already done it.
What are you doing that I've wasted so much of your time, it's impacted your day by just saying that? I wasn't horrible about it. I wasn't accusing you of anything. I was just saying, oh, we need to do that.
Yeah. But when will other people understand that reminding somebody else that they need to instigate and run something is not taking any of the weight of a project?
Wasn't saying that I was.
Okay, so there's the negative there, that you weren't helping shoulder the burden of the planning.
Yeah, but also, like, you know, it's fine.
Cool. Good talk, Ron. Yeah, I'm excited to hear all about your trip.
Yeah. Now? In an intro?
Oh, fucking hell. Should we just stop? Should we just stop doing this podcast? Are we done?
I was going to save it for a Norway episode.
Oh, I see. We're enticing patrons with this passive-aggressive argument.
Well, I wasn't being passive nor aggressive.
No, you were being passive flaky.
I was being passively pleasant.
You weren't being pleasant. It's not pleasant to lump work on other people. Hello, love. Hi.
Just cleaning my hands.
You're cleaning your hands. That sounds like a good idea.
Can I say hello to Ron?
Yeah, you can come and say hi to Uncle Ron. Oh, Daddy said no, darling.
Okay, go say hi to Uncle Ron.
And I had no headphones, Mommy. And I said to your headphones, Mommy. Okay.
Hey, kiddo. How's it going?
Good.
Can you
Yeah?
see Uncle Ron on the computer?
Hello.
Hello.
Are you having a lovely time?
What did we do this morning? Tell Uncle Ron, what did we do this morning?
I don't know.
What did we go and see in the garden?
What did you go and see?
A frog? Was it a mouse?
A puppy.
A puppy.
Oh my goodness, a puppy? What are you going to call the puppy?
Mom, can I hold it?
Yeah. Well, we're not going to get that puppy, are we? That puppy was just a test.
When you get a puppy, what are you going to call it?
Can you say miso?
I mean,
Okay, I think you need to go and have dinner now.
Now this is really careful. Turn around, come down backwards like a ladder.
Here's my suggestion of a name for the puppy. Miso.
Yeah, it's very middle class.
Look, we like the food theme. Yeah? Gnocchi,
Yeah, the
maki.
food theme's fun.
We went through a lot of other, like, Japanese foods to see what fit.
What about mochi?
Mochi we liked, but we have a friend with a dog called Moshi, and it's very close to Maki.
What?
Here are my two that I've really liked.
Are there any other good sushi names?
There are, but they're kind of like hard to say. Like sashimi's cute, but you can't be yelling that.
Sashi's cute.
Yeah, wasabi's cute. Fugu, I particularly like.
What about gunkan?
Yeah, right? Gunkan, but that sounds like some sort of stalwart spaniel that's been by your side, you know, if you're in Monica the Glen.
Yeah, I love gunkan. Job done.
I think you just spend your entire life with people going, Duncan? Gunkan?
Yeah, and are you telling me that you wouldn't get a bit of sick pleasure from that every time it
Are
happens?
you saying Duncan? No? Gunkan.
Gunkan. Yeah, you know, like the type of sushi. No, I've never heard of that. Well, it is one.
Oh, I just liked Gunkan as a noise. I don't think I can shout Gunkan across a field. Gunkan!
Does sound a bit like it could be a slur.
Yeah. Well, see, originally we were looking at a dog that was a sausage dog crossed with a jug, and they're called sausage jugs. So I wanted to call it Fanny.
A sausage dog crossed with what?
A sausage dog crossed with a jug. A Jack
What's a
Russell
jug?
pug.
Oh, you can't just drop that in as if people are supposed to know what that is.
Other people know what jugs are.
Yeah. Fanny, because sausage in jugs? What?
Yeah, because your fanny is basically a jug for sausage. The two names I quite like for a dog would be Sawyer and Miso.
Sawyer's kind of cute.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of like a Republican American kid's name.
Yeah, but actually
Hunter
it would just
and
be
Sawyer.
Soya.
Yeah. What about Uzu?
Uzu's cute.
Uzu.
Yeah. Zuzu. Yeah, Uzu's cute. Yeah, we'll
Uzu's
put that on the
fine.
list. Anyway, right, I have no idea what this episode's about, Ron, and you haven't edited it, so there's no notes. So I've got protein levels of structure written in the
Great app.
spreader.
Great app.
Let's have a look at my notes for 220. Primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. Multiple polypeptide chains. Gosh.
I think you did really well on this one.
Alpha and beta sheets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alpha helices and beta sheets.
Tertiary R groups and all of this stuff. Crikey crumbles.
I think you did really well.
I doubt it, but maybe well for me. Anyway, you have a listen. We'll see you afterwards. Bam. What random film shall I take 10 hours to watch on the flight this time, Ron?
I think based off the the episode that we've just done the intros outros for, it should be Rob Schneider's The Animal.
Yeah, okay. I wonder if it'll be on there. Do you think
I think
someone would come over and check if I was okay if they saw me watching that?
They saw you watching it for 10 hours. Maybe.
You've been really trying to finish this film, and we can't help but wonder why.
Why? Because Marvin Main just hasn't got the girl yet.
Should we reach out to Rob Schneider and see if he wants to come on the podcast?
No.
He's probably a terrible person, isn't he?
I feel like he's right wing.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, Ron, it's occurring to me that after this episode, the next one ought to be our 3rd anniversary.
Oh. Bloody hell.
We should sort out a guest.
Yeah. Who should we have as the guest?
Okay, I will reach out to Rob Schneider first, and if he says no, it might be Dad.
We haven't had Dad on in a while.
No.
Why not?
No. All right. Biology today, Ron. It's your fave.
Yeah.
And before you ask, Ron, in the last biology lesson on the 15th of May, 12 days ago, we were discussing proteins and amino acids, carboxyl groups, amine groups, peptide bonds, hydrolysis reactions, and variable R groups of non-polar, polar, and electrically charged types.
Oh, well done, Laura. There's something about that New Zealand air. The fresh driven snow has now been trod. Things are retaining.
No, I just read that out of my book.
I know, but you knew I was going to ask, and you looked.
Yeah.
That's something, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, Laura. What's a peptide bond?
Peptide bond is where the neutron of one.
If you had to cast
not neutron.
someone to play us in the remake of this podcast, who would you cast for each?
Rob Schneider for both roles, obviously.
Well, you could be played by Rob Schneider, and I'll be played by the Drunk Women Solving Crime podcast.
No, I think you. Who would play you? Maybe one of the Wayans brothers.
Okay.
They've got your comedic drollness.
The Wayans brothers?
Yeah.
Like Coach from New Girl?
Yeah. What about if we let Timmy Chalamet age really badly? Could he play you?
That's quite rude.
Yeah. I'm being played by Rob Schneider in a wig. What did you think I was going to do? Say Bradley Cooper 30 years ago?
I assumed we were recasting you as well.
I'm quite happy with my cast. I don't know who's going to be able to capture my range of emotions better than Rob Schneider.
Yeah, and all of your right-wing views.
I know. That's why I'm a hard task, and there's only one master that can do it.
Yeah, the Schneid man himself.
I think he really is terrible. I do think we should stop joking about it. Who would I cast as you, Ron? It's got to be somebody who's a bit grumpy. You know that guy that played Cece's massive boyfriend in New Girl?
Yeah, I love that guy.
He's got big U energy.
Yeah, Robbie.
Yeah.
That's such a great bit. When Schmidt says he's shaped like a bell. It really made me laugh. Yeah, I love that guy. He's also a really good character in The Office and in Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, I think he could play you.
Yeah, okay. And you can be played by... I mean, Amy Poehler's the obvious choice.
Maybe Daniel Day-Lewis?
No. I was watching an episode of That Mitchell and Webb Look the other day, and in the background of a sketch about A-level results, there was a very young Daniel Kaluuya.
Ah.
Yeah. Maybe Daniel Kaluuya for you.
Yeah? A bit serious.
Yeah. He's good, though.
Yeah? Well, they all are, these Oscar winners.
Yeah. Daniel Day-Lewis is obviously a barrel of laughs in every performance he's in.
Maybe what we could do, Ron, is let Katy Perry play me, and this could be her salvation role, you know, that brings her back to being adored.
After the disastrous space flight.
Yeah, and her last album was a flop, and, you know.
Yeah.
There's lots of propaganda about her having killed a nun.
What?
Have you not seen all this online?
No, I don't really have social media.
She sued some people for a house or something, and a nun died during the court trial.
What happened with Katy Perry and the nuns?
Yeah.
Interesting.
She wanted the house or something, and they didn't want to give it up, and Boom, bam. Somebody died.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, why are we trying to rehabilitate Katy Perry?
Oh, everybody deserves a 91st chance.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose the universe does have to sort of give her a couple of do-overs. She did marry Russell Brand.
Woof.
Yeah, that's gonna earn you some cosmic sympathy.
And now she's married to Orlando Bloom. Who isn't he fascinating that he was just like Legolas and pirates and then just went, yeah, I've done enough. Goodbye. Just,
I am handsome enough to just live off these two things.
Boop, boop, boop. Goodbye. Wow, he just stopped, didn't he?
I think the sad part about it, though, is it must not be that he doesn't want to work anymore, because he did come back for The Hobbit.
Did he?
Yeah.
Ah.
In fact, Legolas is not in the book, The Hobbit, but Legolas is in the film.
Interesting. I don't think I've seen all of the Hobbits.
They are dog shit.
Did I tell you, though,
movies.
I went to Hobbiton?
No.
We
You didn't
went
send me
to...
a single picture.
Oh, did we not? Sorry about that.
No.
We went to Hobbiton, Ron. It was amazing. Tom cried.
Really?
Yeah. It was so
Just-
atmospheric to be there and so wonderful and so beautifully done. And you got to go up to all the Hobbit doors and take all pictures and stuff. And Child of the Podcast kept referring to it as Hobbit Town. And nephew of the podcast got to pretend to be Bilbo and go running through the bit going, I'm going on an adventure. And then
Has he seen The Hobbit?
Tom made him watch bits of it before we went so that he would be slightly excited. I think it's still a bit old for him. He's only 7.
I was watching those films at that age. That'll be fine.
Yeah, but you're not fine now, Ron. You are riddled with angst.
I'm not.
Yeah, and you're shaped like a bell.
I'm looking at pictures of Keira Knightley.
And we got to go in a Hobbit house as well, Ron. And I did knitting in a Hobbit house.
Did you listen to Concerning Hobbits while you were going around?
No, because it was a tour. It was a guided tour. And so we got told all this different stuff, and you got to see how it was all made. And in the Hobbit house, they've done it really cleverly, where they've gone, this isn't movie set at all. This has been made so that you can come in and rummage around a Hobbit house. So you just got to interact with everything. It was great.
Yeah, that's a good place to go. That's very, very cool.
Yeah.
They don't
And then we
make
went to
films
the
like
Green
that
Dragon
anymore.
and had cider and beer and pies, and the pies were delicious.
Oh, you can keep your fancy ales, you can drink 'em by the flagon, but the only brew for the brave and true comes from the Green Dragon.
Hey! It was amazing. I'll send you some photos.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, we're doing biology today, Laura.
Yay!
Sorry to interrupt you to go on that tangent. We've not been focused recently.
Oh, that's not true. The last episode was a slammer where I learned all about the radiations.
Maybe, but we went on a lot of tangents, I think. Maybe we need to do more concentrated bursts of learning.
I was thinking about this last night, Ron. I've been having real trouble sleeping the last few nights because this bed is made of weasels. And
Yes. Why didn't you keep the airbed that Tom was sleeping on?
Oh, it's here, but I don't know why I didn't sleep on it. Good idea. I'm not smart. I finished the next book in the siblings book club that nobody else started, though, last night.
Well done.
Tree Grows in
How was
Brooklyn.
it?
Completed it, mate.
Really
What's the
good.
next one on the list?
I don't know.
I'll find it. Where's the pinned message?
You couldn't sleep.
The Hiding Place by Corrie Ten Boom is the next one. Yes, I couldn't sleep, Ron, and I was thinking maybe we should be approaching the learning in a different manner for A-level, you know?
Talk to me.
Well, I don't know. That was as far as I got. But, like, trying to cram it in the same way we crammed in...
Hey, have you thought about not this?
But, like, the last few lessons, I feel like I've really learned and I've smashed the quizzes. So...
Yeah, because we're doing less each lesson. I
Yeah,
think.
and I think that that's right.
Yeah.
Because it's harder stuff.
The cup doth runneth over after not so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we should do something. So, Laura, we're doing... What's a peptide bond, Laura?
Peptide bond is where the... What's N? Navantron? What's N called?
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen is connected to the nitrogen of one amino acid is connected to the... Stop typing! Stop typing!
Just edit it out.
No! How am I supposed to talk to you when you're doing other things? What are you typing about?
Nothing.
What you doing?
I'm prepping the lesson.
Prepping.
Prepping
Why did you
the
prepping
lesson.
the lessonings? What time
Sometimes
is
you have
it
to
for
tweak
you?
on the...
Is it Monday night for you?
It is 20 to 11 on a Monday night.
Yeah, okay. Listen, it's where the nitrogen of one amino acid connects to the carbon of... Stop typing! You're not prepping the lesson.
I am.
You're not. You're messaging girlfriend of the podcast or the people you're going on holiday with.
No, I
Yes.
was prepping the lesson. I was prepping the lesson.
What did you prep?
Just a little bit that we're going to cover in a bit.
Yeah? Tell me about it.
It was about beta sheets and alpha coils.
That's a lie.
No, it wasn't. It was about...
Beta Sheets and Alpha Course feels like a podcast that would get 1 million listeners a week.
Yeah.
Today
you
on
be
Beta
it.
Sheets and Alpha Coils, the Alpha Coils led by my man Tony here, they're going to be looking at whether eating the placenta of a baby that was recently born near you is actually good for your biceps or your triceps.
Your last reference for masculinity was The Sopranos. Your boy Tony. Okay, Laura, what's an R group?
An R group is a functional group, and the R is used to represent it. And they come in 3 different types: non-polar, polar, and electrically charged. And they have different properties, like they're hydrophilic or hydrophobic.
Sort of. In proteins, yes. An R group, R groups don't just come up in proteins. Remember, we use them for fatty acids as well, to represent just a variable length of chain of hydrocarbon.
I feel like that's the answer I gave last time you asked that, and then you went off on one about, no, that was completely the wrong idea. They weren't just a placeholder, they were specific things. So now I've given the other answer, and now you're mad about that. Also, in my head, I'm singing, our group is a very, very, very fine group with proteins in the yard. Life used to be so hard.
No, I wouldn't have gotten cross about that answer, because that answer would be correct.
I'm so sure you change what an R group is every time we discuss it.
I just don't think that's likely, because I know things and
Yeah.
you don't.
But we didn't have a Trico this year, so I know that there's one somewhere out there owed me in the ether.
Laura, it's all been Trico.
I believe you.
So, Laura... Oh, sorry, I am going to sneeze for a while longer.
You sound like Tasmanian devil. I cannot work out if my child is in the wardrobe or not. Something is creaking about over there.
Oh, Christ, I hate my life.
You must be a really inefficient sneezer.
What do you mean?
Well, like, I only ever sneezed once, twice, done, got whatever it was that was tickling out. Whereas you're sneezing away. Your nose must really hold on to this stuff. I think you've got bad sneezing.
Well,
See? Look at it. Disgusting.
I don't know. I think I sneezed with some force.
It's
I
clearly
think
not
it's-
working.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if your body just tried twice and gave up, even if there was still a fucking cobweb up there or something. But I do get your point. All right, Laura. So we're going to learn about the different levels of structure of a protein, okay?
God. I never thought biology would become my least favourite, but here we are.
And that's crazy to me because this is the interesting bit.
No.
So we've got primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary structure, okay?
Primary, secondary. I know those from schools.
Tertiary. And
Always makes me think of a
quaternary.
wading bird. What's the other one?
Tertiary.
Quaternary.
Quaternary.
That sounds made up, doesn't it?
Quaternary.
Okay. Oh my God, Ron.
Played some Boggle today.
Yeah?
3-letter word. Auk. A-W-K. The
As
bird.
in real orcs.
No, like a great auk.
I thought that was A-U-K.
No.
We completed a whole puzzler.
I saw in the thing. On Play Up, I got to. Oh, you're right. That is how you spell orc. Oh, that's sad. That means that was. Probably have to seed that win. Fuck. Anyway, on Play Up, I got to a tier 5 franchise on my own, and my game just didn't save it.
Oh, Ron.
Yeah, I was really sad about that, actually.
That is sad.
Yeah, I was just making so many turkeys.
I can't wait to play it up again.
Yeah. Anywho, so
I wonder if the
We've got
listeners
those-
have missed us mentioning plate up.
I doubt. A protein molecule, Laura, as you know, are made of these polypeptide chains, these chains of amino acids, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The first 3 levels of protein structure, primary, secondary, and tertiary, those all relate to a single polypeptide chain and the structure of that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Quaternary refers to the fact that some proteins are made up of multiple different polypeptide chains. They have different sort of structures that join together to make one protein. Okay? Proteins can vary massively in their size because of this. Because of the chain structure of it. The smallest protein is 3 amino acids long.
Hang on, that feels important.
Not really, this is just flavour.
Oh. Well,
Have you committed that to memory?
smallest protein is 3 amino acids.
The largest one is more than 34,000.
Whoa!
That's a protein called titin.
Can
What's
you eat
titin
that?
do? Yeah, it's a muscle protein.
Nice.
Um,
That's what the beta coils need to be getting involved with.
yeah, Tone, pass the gabagool. I'm a walking here.
Oh no, you really can't do that.
Pass the gabagool.
Bad one. It's real bad. Woo! Giddy!
Giddy. Okay, Laura. Primary structure of a protein. And it's what's the most simple aspect of that polypeptide chain? What's going to be the first thing that you've got to know about it, basically, before you could work out anything else?
Oh my god, Ron. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, it's going to be the sequence of amino acids, because those are all different.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. No more questions for you today.
I've
Forget
faithfully
about
written
it.
down almost everything you've said. But if I'm totally honest, I don't know what a polypeptide is.
It's a string of amino acids. It's
Yeah.
basically a protein.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the primary structure is the combination of amino acids, the sequence of amino acids. Okay?
So that. So when we're saying primary, secondary, tertiary, we're not talking about different layers. We're talking about like the different things that make up what it is.
Yeah, it's the different. It's almost kind of like, I suppose, if you were to think about like the primary, secondary, tertiary, whatever structure of a country, like the primary structure of it might literally be like a road map where you can see every individual road, and then the secondary structure might be the neighborhoods, and then the tertiary structure is the cities or something.
Okay.
See, so like they all build into each other, but kind of at different scales and sort of referring to different parts of it.
Yeah, that
It
makes
should
sense.
make sense by the time we get to the end of it. So yeah, primary sequence. The primary structure is the sequence of amino acids. What is at either end of that polypeptide chain, Laura?
Hydroxyl and carboxyl groups.
Almost an amine group at one side and a carboxyl group at the other side.
Yeah, okay.
Where does this sequence of amino acids come from?
Spain?
No.
It sounds like a Spanish word, doesn't it? Amino.
Hey, Don Mamino.
No, that's Italia.
Not the way I do it.
I don't know why you slowed down so much when you're Italian American. Hey, don't.
Passa de gabagal.
Gabagool.
Gabagal.
No, gabagal. Gabagal sounds like what polypeptide gets called when they're mad at her.
Yeah. Where does the sequence of amino acids come from, Lloyd?
What do you mean, where does it come from?
What determines it?
I don't know. What amino acids are around, I guess.
No, DNA, isn't it?
Is
Fuck's
it? What?
sake.
Where's DNA coming from?
Your DNA holds the recipes for all of the proteins.
Oh, God.
Something that you know. You should
Okay.
have known. You should
What
have known
does-
for years now.
I didn't know that's whereabouts in science we were.
It's all connected.
In the great circle of life.
Yes. That's the primary structure, Laura. Okay? Okay?
Okay.
Secondary structure, Laura, are the two bits of structure that we've talked about before. The alpha coil, or the alpha helix, it's sometimes called, and the beta sheets.
Hi, we're the Beta Sheets, and today we'll be doing a cappella. That sounds like something from Pitch Perfect, doesn't it?
Sneaky wet family.
Yeah, I don't think she's wet, but I do think she's trying to be sneaky. What are you doing?
No.
Are you doing good listening to Auntie Meg?
No, you're using up Auntie Meg's last shred of patience. And Auntie Meg is eternally patient, so it's quite impressive.
30 hours on a plane.
Yeah, she'll be tired though, so she'll sleep.
Good one, Uncle Ron.
Can't believe you've been telling her this whole time this is important work. she's gonna be fucking livid one day. I couldn't come in and pull your hair because you were doing that. All right, Laura, we'll whiz through this so that you can go attend to the babbins. But we have your tertiary structure.
Hang on, so secondary was out. I got alpha helix and beta sheets. I don't really understand what those are.
So those are just two structures that are supremely common within proteins because they are formed by hydrogen bonds, which is a weak sort of intermolecular bond, and they form between the amine group of one amino acid in the chain with the carboxyl group of a different amino acid in the chain. Which what that means is like, because all of the amino acids have these bonds form a lot, so these are very common structures. You understand?
Right. Okay.
And if you look at that diagram I've just sent you, you can see like the alpha helix is literally what it sounds like. It's a coil of amino acids going round. I think it's every 4 amino acids one of these bonds is made.
Wow.
Those bonds come about because of we've talked about the electronegativity. So the oxygen on the carboxyl group is pulling the electrons away from the carbon, becomes negatively charged. And then on the amine group, the nitrogen is pulling the electrons away from the hydrogen, so that hydrogen becomes positively charged. So the oxygen and the hydrogen are attracted together, and they form a weak sort of bond called a hydrogen bond. Okay? The beta sheet is where they kind of fold up really, almost like a viennetta, and you get these pleats in the chain. And again, those pleats form the hydrogen bonds between them. Okay, that's secondary structure.
Okay.
Easy peas. Tertiary structure is where the R groups come into this. And do you remember we were talking about how you've got polar R groups and charged R groups and hydrophobic R groups?
Yeah.
So the tertiary structure is where those R groups are interacting with each other within a protein. Can you think how any of those things that I've just listed off there, the different types of R group, might interact with each other?
Where all the hydrophilics and hydrophobics get their feet and heads together.
Exactly, yeah. All of the hydrophobic ones are going to group together. And especially, we've talked before about them being embedded in membranes. Really good, Laura. That was a very smart thing to say. Yes. And hydrophobic often means polar or charged, and the ones of opposite charge are going to be attracted together as well. There's a special type of bond that forms between... I can't remember the name of the amino acid. There's an amino acid that's got a sulfur in it, and... between two of those, you get what's called a disulfide bond. I don't know if you need to know that at A level. But I can send you a picture of kind of all of these things wrapping together, because it illuminates sort of where all these things are coming in. Oh, cysteine. That's it. Yeah, between 2 cysteine amino acids, you get the disulfide group. And then the last thing that we need to go through today is the quaternary structure. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You remember what I said this was before?
Multiple polypeptide chains.
Absolutely. So essentially, everything that we've just talked about there, and then you can have multiple chains, and then those come together, and those can interact with each other. So the example that might be a protein that you've heard of would be hemoglobin.
Oh, yeah. In your blood.
Yeah, carries the oxygen around your blood. So hemoglobin, each hemoglobin protein is made up of 4 polypeptide chains. You got the alpha and the beta globin subunits, 2 of each. Each of those has an ion molecule in it, an ion in it rather, that can then hold on to some of the oxygen. And that would look something like this. There we go. 30 minutes of pissing around, 10 minutes of science at the end. Perfect.
Yeah. If you squint at that, it says goblin unit, Haim group, and then the other side it looks like it says goblin subnut.
Maybe don't squint then.
Yeah, alright. Oh, right, I really need a wee now.
Have a safe flight.
Yeah. Bam! See you in Britain. that cat trying to take off? I guess that's my main question.
She's just very happy.
She's missed you.
She's happy because she's been ignoring me all morning.
Yeah?
And then she got her sixth sense that I was about to do something.
Nice.
So now she's got to come lie on my lap.
She's a sweetheart. Oh God, there are so many tabs open. My computer looks like the inside of my brain, and it's horrifying.
I think we should have done the record right when you woken up, because apparently all you've done in the hour since then is fluster yourself.
No. Hey, Ron, guess how many batteries I'm holding?
No.
No. Do you know what? I've been absolutely unable to say the right words for anything. I can't remember what I've got wrong now. If I said to you, Tom, what did I say? Sparkle Bridge. Did I call it anything, or was it just Sparkle Bridge? Yeah. I was trying to talk about Stardew Valley, and I called it Starbridge Farm or something. I couldn't remember what we were talking about. And then I was trying to talk about Tupperware, and apparently I called it Tough Wet Tupperware without realising at all. And younger sister of the podcast, Meg, and husband of the podcast, Tom, were both just staring at me like, what? What?
Tough wet Tupperware.
Tough Wet Tupperware. Because I had a dream last night that I was talking to Danny Ward and Mark Simmons about some possible material about Tupperware. And we were both saying, like, God, that would be a banging bit about how Tupperware is really not improved upon its stance. It's just never improved what it does. And we had loads of ideas for how Tupperware could be better. And then I woke up and like, well, no, that would be terrible stand-up material. But
Terrible stand-up material. I'm sure there's been loads of improvements to Tupperware since it was first invented.
But in the dream, you could plug Tupperware in and then make it vacuum sealed, and you could do all sorts of stuff to it. It's bad. It was bad. Bad idea. Anyway, I've realised I've left my notebook in my suitcase too, so this quiz is going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, shit. Do I need my notebook? Should I go and get it?
Depends how many notes you made.
Probably good ones. Am I going to have to draw out any answers?
No, you're giving me one long answer that's worth 13 marks.
Shit! I'm always bad at those. Should we just call this episode Daddy, I Did a Big, Big Poo-Poo, even though it didn't record?
No, because it's so sad that they didn't hear that. Okay, Laura. What are the 4 types of protein structure? And a small description of each, please. There's 13 things that you need to say.
Okay. There is primary protein structure. Primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary?
There's actually 15 marks available.
Why would you interrupt my brilliance with that? And quaternary or something. And the structures work a bit like an atlas, where each structure adds a layer of complication to what we're discussing. We're bringing some blankets downstairs. Don't know if you heard that. What's currently going on in my house is that every toy that Child of the Podcast has been missing while we've been away is being pulled to the living room in a huge heap in the middle of it, and nobody has the energy to stop it.
That seems completely fair. She didn't ask to go to New Zealand.
No, she has to come home a lot. Nephew of the podcast, Harris, was so tired on the flight home because he barely slept at all. He was so excited about having video games for 27 hours that his eyes got so puffy and red that he looked like oldest nephew of the podcast when he was young and was allergic to the world.
Oh.
You remember how much like Goob from Meet the Robinsons he used to look like?
He still does, but
Yeah.
yes.
But now for teenage reasons. Yeah. Anyway. Primary structure was about... Yeesh. I think tertiary structure was about the R groups, the different R groups that come off. So was that primary structure is about...
It's like a fucking Christopher Nolan answer. Just keeps circling back to the end and then coming back to the beginning.
Do you know what I found out the other day, Ron, that the ability to like drink loads of caffeine and then fall asleep straight away is an ADHD thing?
Oh, Dad has ADHD.
Maybe. He is faddy about what he's into. I was talking
sometimes
to...
he looks into stuff. He loves stats.
Yeah. But like, he'll buy a motorbike, ride it for 4 years and then sell it and never ever be interested in motorbikes again.
Yeah. Ow.
So, secondary... No,
You
primary.
haven't done primary yet.
Primary, I think, might be about the length of the chain. So, proteins can be anything from 3 amino acids long to 50, 100, million, thousands, 300,000. So, that is about that. Secondary is about the bonds. That doesn't feel right. Secondary is about... What else could there be? Quaternary was about DNA or something. DNA is what designs the whole thing. What are you doing? You're typing.
Yeah, I have to check my work emails while we do this.
I see. Sorry, Ron. God. What might secondary be? Maybe secondary is about the carboxyl groups joining everything together. And the peptides, dipeptides and polypeptides, suepeptide, mycopeptide. I think I've answered all of them now.
5 marks out of 15 there for you, Laura. That's a yes moment for you.
Well, listen, I remembered...
4 of those marks are for saying primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary.
Was quaternary right?
Yeah.
Yes. And what
So
was the
you
fifth one
scored-
for? I got one right.
Yeah, so primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary. The primary structure is the combination of amino acids that are in the polypeptide chain. It's the sequence of amino acids, not the length of it.
Oh, okay.
The sequence determines the length, but that's not the important bit there.
Okay.
The secondary structure is the alpha helices and the beta sheets.
I remember discussing those now. Yes, that had evaporated from my brain, but I
As
do
most
remember it
things
now.
do. Those are caused by hydrogen bonds between the nitrogen. That would be one. So alpha helix and beta sheets. That would be one extra mark. Hydrogen bonds, another mark between the nitrogen in an amine group and the oxygen of a carboxyl group in a different amino acid.
Right? What?
Don't worry about it. It
Okay.
doesn't matter. I could literally explain it for 45 minutes and you wouldn't remember or care.
I would care, Ron. I do try.
Tertiary is the folding of the polypeptide chain, which is caused by interactions between the R groups, which is
I
the
forgot
other...
all of this bit.
No, that's the other mark you got.
R groups. R groups was the third one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you could have got some marks for listing some of those interactions. So you got hydrophobic R groups all bunched together, like oil and water. You get disulfide bonds between cysteine amino acids, ionic bonds between charged R groups, and hydrogen bonds between polar R groups. And then quaternary structure is when you have different polypeptide chains that bunch together to make one protein, like how hemoglobin's made out of 4 different subunits.
That all happened towards the end of the episode, though, didn't it?
Yeah.
And we know I wasn't listening.
Yeah, you were distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good then.
No. You basically counted to 4 and guessed one thing right.
No, I knew that was somewhere in the 3, Ron. I did know. That was a little crouton of truth floating on the soup of obscurity. Ba-bum. There we go. They've listened to that now, Ron. Next week's our 3rd anniversary episode.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
To record.
Next week, you will be able to listen to us with Grania and Chantal from the Way They Were podcast. And we sort of did a sort of the science of relationships kind of thing.
Sort of, yeah. We mainly just chatted about random stuff, which
I had
was
such a good time. And like
I had a really good time.
People
you know
do
who's really good at podcasting? Chantal. She really kept that shit together.
Yeah, she was such a
Drove
great
us
host.
to, yeah. She really hosted our show really good for us.
I tell you what, Ron, like obviously we do these podcast swap things so that you can get more audience, and I spent the rest of the evening listening to their podcast. So it worked in that they got at least one new listener, and it was me.
Yeah, they were very, very funny.
Yeah. I've got a weird thing at the moment where I think because I turned my data off on my podcast app, and the last time I downloaded a load of podcasts was in New Zealand. So all my podcast adverts are for the New Zealand things at the moment, and it feels so eclectic and fun.
Why did you turn your data off for your podcast app?
Because for a while when I was in New Zealand, I didn't have a local SIM card. And so I just turned off mobile data for everything that wasn't essential until I got that sorted. And then I guess I never really download podcasts on mobile data. So I just didn't turn it back on while I was out there.
Huh. Yeah, I turned off my data quite a lot towards the tail end of my trip because I was running out of EU roaming.
Yeah.
And it was nice to just go off grid for a bit.
I found that for the first week I was in New Zealand, I was sort of off grid whenever I was out the house, and then that just got unworkable because obviously I was there to work, so that wasn't good.
And you've got a kid.
Yeah, but then I found younger sister of the podcast introduced me to an app where you can just get a digital eSIM, and just like I don't know, I basically got a SIM card just on my phone and it worked and it was great.
Lovely.
Yeah. What's happening in your life coming up, Ron?
July's quiet, which is nice. I just want to spend some time at home.
Except for
enjoy.
Bristol Harbour Fest.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Here we come. Do you think old Shooty Feet will be there?
Oh!
Shooty Feet the Water Walker?
Avicii's #1 fan.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe he's learned even one new move.
Oh, wouldn't it be
bringing
great
the total to 3?
if he'd learned another move? The dolphin, the whatever his other move was.
Oh my God, Laura! When we were in Sweden driving to Norway so that 2 of the guys could get their flight back to the UK, we stopped off at what we thought was going to be like a petrol station, but it was actually just a hotel where we could go for a piss. And I stood in the lobby there, and there was like these sort of really like boomer art images, and like they're always printed on glass for some reason, and it's got like the Beatles hanging out with Freddie Mercury and Kurt Cobain's there, and yeah, Johnny Cash and all of these like people, and then just in the corner, just at the back, right behind Johnny Cash, was just Avicii. Really out of place.
Not out of place, Ron. Where he's meant to be. Do you think they added him after he died?
I don't know. Well, I guess maybe he was the impetus for producing it.
Yeah. And then they were like, we can't just do a whole shot of Avicii. We'll put some background noise in, but everyone will know this main thing is about Avicii. Let's do an episode on Avicii.
All
it's
right,
going
you're
in the
doing the
list
research
along
for
with
that one.
Carnival and Flake Diamonds. can't believe we haven't done either of those episodes yet, Ron.
Flaked almonds. Carnival, I'm so keen for. I've already done
Yeah.
the research.
We need to do them.
Maybe as part of next week's what's it called, Independence Day episode, you could do Independence Day and then I'll do British Independence Day, which is Carnival.
I think that's what we would call a stretch in the industry. Maybe
Yeah,
we
but-
won't do Independence Day. Who cares about Independence Day?
Carnival.
Maybe Independence Day means Independent Learning Day, and we both just do this. We both bring information on the subject we're most interested in off the list. So you bring Carnival, and I'll bring whatever I'm most interested in off the list.
But that'll be tough though, because you'll choose Carnival as well.
No, not in this list, Ron. We've got magnets. We've got hypermobilism. We've got Sant Antonio Zoo Miniature Railway. We've got Avicii, Taylor Swift, riddles. I might just do an episode of Boy and Sea while you talk about Carnival.
Yeah, that could be fun.
That could be mad.
Why is it flaked almonds on this list?
Because I invented an almond flaker? Or did we try to find out how almonds were flaked?
Maybe we were trying to find out
I
how
think
they were
flaked
flaked.
almonds seemed too perfect to genuinely exist, and so we slightly investigated how they did exist.
I think we should do. You've done an episode with Tom recently, but it would be fun to do that episode with Tom at some point.
I haven't done an episode with Tom recently.
Didn't you? I thought
He did
I
some
saw-
intros with me.
I saw the there was a Discord thing where it was like. have you
Oh
got
yeah, he
questions
came
for-
and did some intros while you were away. We
Ah,
asked
fair.
him lots of questions.
Nice.
And then, Ron, for the last Patreon episode, I did an Ask Me Anything where people sent me anonymous questions and I answered them. And the listeners are very keen for you to do one, but we are all concerned you won't be as candid as I was.
Oh yeah, well you spill your guts at any given opportunity.
Yeah, I'm an open book.
Yeah.
Except for science, in which I'm a closed book. Anyway, Ron, it's very lovely to have you back. The listeners won't really have missed you because to them you haven't really been away. But you
We
have
did a good job of building stuff up before.
Yeah.
We did well.
Yeah. And we're not completely seat of our pants now. We are in terms of Patreon stuff. We absolutely have to record that next week. But we've still got 2 episodes ahead of us in normal apps. We're good.
All right. Well, it's great to be back, and now let's do a quiz and an episode. Class dismissed.